Hello and welcome back to another year in review from Stitching Jewels. This is about the 7th time I've tried to record this. There have been various technical snafus, so if I talk fast and I kind of seem to do this very quickly, that is the reason why, because it seems like I can't get this recorded. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Eve, and there's so much going on, but I really wanted to sit down and do this video today because I got more stitching to do, I got other things to do, and I know you guys want to see this video. So how I normally do these videos, in the past I kind of pulled out my projects and kind of walk through them and stuff. I'm going to do something a little bit differently this time, and I'm going to actually walk through month by month of the year, talk about sort of what was going on, what I was doing, especially as to how it reflects on where things are now. So a year ago, I had decided that there was a few things that I was doing. I wanted to work on my stitching store on Etsy. I wanted to finish Rainy Waterloo Place, and I wanted to finish Reaper, and those were my biggest priorities. Another thing that I had done at the beginning of the year was I had taken Empire State Workers and I had moved it to a, what do you call it? Moved it to a different fabric. I was stitching it on 18 count. I was doing it 2/1, but full cross stitches. And you guys convinced me, thankfully, that I should do it on 10 stitch. And so a half cross stitch instead of a full one. And that enabled me to make so much progress this year on so many things. Also, two-handed stitching. Two-handed stitching was huge for me in terms of just the technique and getting things done so much faster. It also helped my wrists, my hands out a lot, and because later in the year when I actually stopped doing that, I went a couple months where I didn't stitch a whole lot, and then I started stitching with a hoop again, and I gotta say, like, my arm, my elbow kind of hurt from that, and so I went back to using frames again. I started the year by using the roller frame, and I was stitching Reaper on this to begin with. This is a totally different project, but the roller frame for me works best when I'm doing something that's more narrow. This is an 18-inch crossbar, and that is probably the max that I would want to do in terms of just how long a project needs to be. As long as I can get it taut, it's not terribly taut right now. I need to put some more holders down here, but anything more than this, and I can't get it taut enough, and it drives me nuts when I'm stitching, because if I don't have, you know, that fabric, if I don't have that tightness, it's irritating. It's one of those like pet peeves that we all have. So so January started. I had about 14,000 stitches to go on Reaper. I had a lot to go on Rainy Waterloo Place, and I worked on both of those all throughout the month. I'm rolling into February and March, continue to really focus on Reaper a lot. I finally finished Reaper in March, and I'm going to have a link to the product down below. I'm not going to actually show you the product because on 3 prior takes, every time I try to show you that project, my phone shuts off. And so I'm not going to move my phone and do anything too crazy. I'm going to move it a little bit to show you guys some other things, but Reaper will be listed down below as far as where you can purchase it if you want to see what it looks like, or just start it yourself. So finally got it done, super happy. In retrospect, I was like, I finished that in March? How did I finish that in March? Because I felt like I finished it later in the year, but what happened was I finished it in March, and I didn't get it framed until like June, July or something. I was really long time in getting it framed. It just sat on my desk for the longest time, and it wasn't until my friend that I was stitching it for was coming into town, I'm like, oh, I gotta get this done. So so that got done much later in terms of being framed. Once I finished Reaper, and I think during this time I was still working a little bit on Rainy Waterloo Place, just not a ton, I started Eiffel Tower. And Eiffel Tower is one of my own designs, and I felt like I need to stitch some of my own designs, and I thought I could stitch this one really fast, and I did. Let's see, that was the end of March. And by the end of April, I had actually finished Eiffel Tower, and that one is right, is that it? Oh, that is right here. Nope, that's not there. Oh, here it is. I have it folded up. So I think this one was like 14,000 stitches, maybe less. So it was a pretty fast stitch, and I just love how it came out. I'm just loving this. And you can find this on my store. Link is down below for the store on Etsy. But it's just black thread over white fabric. And this one was the 25 count, and I did this one 2/1 with a 10 stitch. And it went by really quickly because of that. So, I mean, you're talking like 6 weeks of stitching and this project was done, which that's unheard of for me. So, there's that. Let's see, where am I? I started putting a bunch of patterns in my store. I kind of got hooked back on doing patterns for a couple of months. And by the end of the year, I have a total of like, I want to say 170 digital patterns, of which about 130 are also in physical form where I can mail them to you. So I was just doing a lot of that. That's a fun thing for me to do. That's actually quite enjoyable to go through the whole process of picking a project and picking a picture and then formulating it in a way that makes it come out really nice in the sense of cross stitch. So that was something that I worked on all year and I was super happy about. So that's another reason why I didn't get like a ton of stitching done on certain things. But that's April. May, where are you? Where's my April? I don't think I even wrote May down. Nope, I didn't. June was when I restarted Empire. I thought I started at the beginning of the year, but apparently I started Empire State Workers on 25 count fabric at that time, which I didn't think I did, but apparently I did. June was also the month in which I did my first move of the year, where I moved from my upstairs bedroom all the way down into the basement, brought all my cross-stitch stuff down. It was just sort of a way to sort of open up that room up there that I was using and provide a little bit more privacy for myself when I stitch, especially when I shoot videos. So there was a couple months where I did that. It ended up not being a very good situation because the lighting was really bad down there, and I just didn't like it. I thought I would like it, and I didn't like it. And I think a big reason why I didn't like it was because I was facing the wall, whereas in this setup, I'm like, the wall's behind me, and I got a room in front of me. So it's back to the door, right? Back to the door. I feel more comfortable. So, yeah. So that was June. I moved downstairs into the basement. And June was also the month that we lost our dog Jelly. After having her for 4 years, she was, I think, 13 years old or so. That was sad, but we knew it was coming. We knew for a couple months that it was coming, and we still have just 5 dogs. Zero. I've been really good about not adding anybody else to the fam, and it's been great. So July was when I started refocusing again, and I freaked out. I'm like, I've got to work on my own projects, and I got to do something. And I had the idea that I wanted to do Twin Towers and have that one done by September 11th. And because that piece, which you can find again in my store, was commemorating the Twin Towers in New York City. And you can kind of see it behind me a little bit. I'll show you the whole thing when I get to that point. But it's when I really started working on that. And that's also the project that I did on the roller frame. It worked really well on the roller frame, and it helped me to finish that project, I think, much faster than I would have if I had just done it in hand with like a hoop or something. So that was that month. And in August was when I moved up to this area. And I don't know, it was probably the Hubs's idea. And so we moved everything up here, and I love it. I absolutely love it. The lighting is really good. My setup is nice. I've got to clean today. You can't see how dirty and messy it is all around me, but I've kind of piled things up, and so I need to go through and clean some things. But that was August when I moved up here. And then once I moved up here, I actually started on quite a few projects. I started on, I'll show you where I'm at. This is where I ended up the year with sun worship, but I started sun worship at that time, and this is as far as I've gotten. Now on this one, I wanted the best possible coverage that I could get, so I'm doing this one on 18 count, and I love the oranges. It's just so much more fun. So much more fun. It's so much fun doing the oranges and stuff right now, and I do want to continue working on this one. It'll probably take me half the year to do this one because of it just being full cross stitches, and which is, it slows me down, honestly. But I'm gonna work on this. The goal is definitely to get this one done this next year. It's gonna be gorgeous, gorgeous. Hold on. This is the picture of it, and so that's what sun worship looks like. It is 180 by 180, so it's not terribly large, but it is something that's going to take some time. And I can't wait to see it come out more. And let me put this over here. So that was good. I started working on that one. I started working on this one, which is, I don't think I have a picture close by of it. It's the Lady Liberty that you can find on my store. And I kind of set that one aside because I ended up not having all the colors that I needed for it. I may have those now, but I just haven't gotten back into stitching it at this point. Where am I? All right, so July is done. Let me pull up. My notes are all in disarray. September, I finished Twin Towers, and I remember I wanted to have it done by 9/11, but I think I finished it like 5 days later. Just couldn't get it done. Kind of stitched on it so much. I forgot how many stitches were on that, like 14 or 15,000. So I did the project in like 3 months, which is one of the fast. I mean, outside of Eiffel, it's one of the fastest that I had done all year. So we're already this is my third finish of the year, and which was better than last year. And so, especially considering that 2 of the projects I started and finished this year. Later in the month, in late September, early October, was when Daphne Chamberlain got me back, or sent me back, the torn dress project that she had stitched for me off of my store. And then once I got those 2 back, I sent them off to the framers. And when they came back from the framers, this is what they look like. So I'm trying not to upset my phone, so it continues. And I have that blue, sorry about the blue reflection of the light there, but I love them both. And Daphne is like a ridiculously skilled stitcher, and so that one came out amazingly. Full coverage piece. And then the Twin Towers one over there it's not, you can do that one in any color fabric, because you could do that in a light blue or light green or something, or whatever you want to do to really accent the buildings there. But that was in 25 count 10 stitch, and that, or was it in 10 stitch? Now it looks like I did that in full cross stitches. And so, but anyway, so those 2 got done and framed, which was amazing. Because then I was like, oh my gosh, my stuff's coming together. Woo. And, all right, so we are now into October. Is really when I started like focusing more and more on Empire State Workers, and I sent these off to go get framed. And so yeah, once I finished Twin Towers, my next focus was Empire State Workers. So I dabbled in some other things, but Empire State Workers was the one that I got the most progress done on. I'm trying to see if I have another. The other thing that I did this year was I cut up fabric for certain projects to make them into other projects. And because I did that, I don't have like everything serged and looking pretty. But one of the things that I work on, one of the things that I've been working on, well, not for a bit, but Mother's Love from my store, and I only got this much stitched. But this will be another one that will get done this year. And did I do this one in full cross stitches? Yeah, I'm doing this one in full cross stitches because I'm crazy. Did I? I need my glasses to know for sure. No, it looks like I did them in tent stitching, which is great. That's why that coverage looks so good. But I think it's actually in tent stitching. But blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so got this one to work on. This is another goal for this year. But Empire State Workers was something that I really, really worked hard on. And in the end, I'll show you guys where I ended up in the year. I am getting close. I got about, well, no, I'm actually like 50% of the way through. But I'm the 50% that I really want to have done. So hold on, let me take this off. So this is where I'm at now with Empire State Workers. And again, this is on my store. This is tent stitching. Half stitch over 1, 2 over 1 technically, but that's where I'm at. So yeah. So this one's definitely getting done this year. It has to, because it has to get done honestly in the next like 6 weeks. So we're gonna see how fast I can stitch. But that is something that I have to get done. So we'll see. We'll see. So there's that project, and that project, and that project. And so where was I? I showed you that one. And then November rolls around, and I'm still stitching like crazy on primarily like Sun Worship and Empire State Workers like all month. And then at the end of the month, I had an epiphany, and I'm like, I want to bring back my old pieces. You know, I want to stitch on these things that I've always loved stitching on and get away from the 25 count fabric a little bit and stitch on something a lot larger. And so I brought back both Rainy Waterloo Place and Old World Map 2 and started stitching on those guys again. I'm like, where did I put everything? I'm going to show you right now my gigantic, huge piece that I've been working on. I did get more stitches done this week. I got a couple hundred stitches done, but I just want to show you this one because I started working on it around Thanksgiving, early December. So for the last month I've been working on it, and I've almost finished this one page. I still have more to do, but I'm waiting on some floss that I ordered. I hate, you know, sometimes if I'm going to a shop, I'll grab some floss at that time, but most of the time, especially on the holidays, like I didn't want to go into a store, so I just ordered some floss that should be coming here real soon. But I'm hoping to get this page done and get all this like little bit of confetti stitching back and forth here, get all that done, and then move on to the rest here, which we'll talk about when we talk about what we're going to be doing next year. I gotta get a drink. Hold on. All right. A lot of talking. So I worked on that. I'll show you Rainy Waterloo Place in a second as well, although I don't know where I put it. Where did you go? Where did you go? Maybe over here. Here. Ah, here it is. So in December, I was really working a fair bit on Rainy Waterloo Place. And I'm going to show you guys where I've ended up for the year. And so, which I haven't stitched on it any more than I did last week. So, where I was at the beginning of the year, I hadn't, like, let me put my hand, like if I put my hand over what I've done, so about that much. So, I mean, really, maybe a couple thousand stitches on this piece only for the year. So there's that. But, so I got that one, I got that one. Okay, so then, so everything's going great. I'm stitching on my old stuff, very relaxed, having a great time. Gotta pause the video, and if this ruins the video, okay, it's still working. I'm gonna try and get this video finished. So I was relaxed, everything was good. We were, you know, heading into the year, and I was like, I'm gonna get all this stuff done. I'm gonna finish this page on Old World Map 2. I'm gonna do this on Rainy Waterloo. And then the week of Christmas, I got a phone call, and I am now going to be having a booth at the Nashville Needlework Market, which I hadn't planned on because I didn't think I was quite ready. But then when an opportunity popped up, I was like, well, why not take it? Why not? why not take it? And which has once again completely turned me around in terms of what I need to do. So while I've set Rainy Waterloo and Old World Map 2 back down, I'm still working on them a little bit every week. Like I said, I got a couple hundred stitches done on Old World Map 2 last week. I'm going to do more this week. I'm really focused on getting that done. And the stress of the year is why, like, if you look at the last couple of years, but look how white. I am so white. Somebody actually asked me if I'd frosted my hair, and I was like, I hadn't looked at myself in a while, and I looked at myself, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, you know, I look at myself, but I wasn't looking at how white my hair was. Look how white I am. Crazy. I'm telling you, it's so hard. The worst video of the world to shoot. Worst video of the world? Worst video of the year. The hardest video of the year to shoot is the end of year one because of the dogs. At least this year. It's been really hard with them because they keep interrupting me. But anyway, so saying yes to going to the Needlework Mart, the Nashville show, let's just say the Nashville show, it's easier for me to say, really changed my plans again. And it's kind of nice in the sense that it is only a couple of months away, so it's not going to take up, like if I had done it back in whatever the deadline was, September, October, whatever it was, then it would have been like a ton of stress. I wouldn't have, yeah, it would have been a ton of stress. And at that time I was like, I don't want to do it. Having it presented to me at the end of the year, I was like, well, it's only a couple months of work, and I already have some stuff done, and I've kind of just decided that I'm not going to worry about getting everything done. I'm going to get done what I can, go to the show, and just see. This is an educational show for me. I don't know if I will sell very much, to be honest with you. I just don't know. The show is basically for cross-stitch stores. They'll go and like look at everybody's stuff for the year and see what they like. But my stuff is not necessarily the kind of stuff that the average consumer walking into a cross-stitch store, I think, is looking for. Maybe, maybe not. It's hard to say. I mean, you guys that watch this channel, you watch it for the projects that I do, and a lot of them are really big and they take a long time. When you hang them on the wall, they're beautiful, beautiful work of art. They look amazing, but it's not for everybody. So we'll see. If I don't get, if I don't feel like I get a lot of sales, then I may just not do that again. I am going to see Ronnie Rowe there. Ronnie says hi to everybody. We had a nice chat last night on Zoom, and caught up, and got to see some of the new stuff that he's been doing. And but he says hi to you guys, and Ronnie's been massively influential to me, both as a cross-stitcher as well as somebody who never really thought that I could do cross-stitch patterns. And Ronnie really, he taught me just about everything I know when it comes to cross-stitch patterns. So I am so thankful to him. He is awesome, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him in March. I hope the show goes off. We've been having a lot of crazy pandemic things happening, and we're reaching sort of a peak right now. So we'll see what happens by March. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't happen. You know, whatever's supposed to happen will happen. So, like I said, I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not worrying about it too much. I'm focusing on not stressing out about it. But as part of that, over the last week, 10 days or so, because of wanting to have certain things done for the show, in 2020, the very first piece I finished was raising the flag. And of course I don't have it right here. At least I don't think so. But I did like a big version of it. I did it on 18 or 14 count fabric, and it was pretty large. And the last couple months of the year, I went through and I redid a lot of my patterns, tried to make them a little bit smaller, condense them, so it's less stitching. I reduced the colors on them. I just did a bunch of different things with them. And on raising the flag, I'm like, you can stitch it a big version of it, but I wanted to really miniaturize it and still capture sort of the moment and the beauty of the picture. So I started stitching on, I cut out a piece of 25 count fabric out of something else, and I started stitching on it, and I've gotten a lot done because the piece is only 7,500 stitches or so. I have about 2,800 left right now, and this is where I'm at with it. And so it's looking gorgeous on this little piece. And of course I didn't quite, like, I never center everything perfectly the way I need to, but that's my stitching so far. And I'm just booking through this piece, trying to get it done as fast as I can. And so I should get it done in the next 3 or 4 days. Like I said, I have 2,800 stitches left, so that should be plenty of time to get that done. And so I have this one done, get it framed, get Eiffel Tower framed, and get oh, Empire State Workers framed. Sorry, blah, 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 as soon as I finish it. So the near future, the goal is finish this one, finish Empire State Workers, dabble a little bit in the old stuff, and kind of go from there. And the reality is that if I don't have it done by maybe like the second week at the very latest, week of February, which is about 5-6 weeks away. Once whatever's done at that point, if it can be framed, it gets framed. If it's not ready to be framed, it won't be framed for the show, which is fine. But you know, I'm not going to freak myself out, like I said. So you know, we'll see what happens. And so I've been doing a lot of stitching. Thankfully, with a long vacation last week, and then I don't want to say vacation, like I had 1 day off last week with the holiday, but it ended up being 4 days off. And the same thing happened this week. I'm taking 1 day off, and it's, you know, 4 days off. So it's been awesome. A lot of football, a lot of relaxing, and except for the whole craziness with the fires happening up in near Boulder, which is way on the other side. It's not even close to me. It's no worries there. But in case you didn't know, there's a big fire that popped up yesterday with very, very high winds around here, and it has destroyed like 500 plus homes, and it's still not out. Hopefully it'll get put out later today, because we're finally going to get some snow. And theoretically, it's only going to be maybe 2 to 4 inches max. I don't know how much they're expecting up there, but if they can just get a couple inches, it'll put this fire out. So, because it's where it started, it's moved north and west, and it's moved south. So it's like created these massive fronts in order for firefighters to try and stop the fire. It's just really hard in that sense. And right now where it burns is like when it moves, it's moving from one house to the next to the next. So the wind's picking up the embers and shooting them over someplace and starting new fires. And that's why they're kind of popping up all over. So, man, we just need to get this snow in and be done with it. But yeah, so so I've just been relaxing and just kind of enjoying myself and stitching and just doing stuff. So what is happening next year? So whether or not the Nashville show goes off, I will have certain things done by that time next year. I will have raising the flag is going to be done, like I said, in the next week. So this one's going to get done. Empire State Workers is going to get done. I think this one is 17,000 stitches or so, which I can totally do. I can totally do pretty quickly. I just got to focus on it. So I'm going to get that one done. I'm also going to finish both Mother's Love eventually and Sun Worship. I will likely do more monochrome pieces for the store. Probably get at least a couple of those done, hopefully more. I always have to have at least one monochrome piece that I'm working on at any one time. And then gonna have Rainy Waterloo done. I know I've said that for like 3 years now. Finish Rainy Waterloo. That's a goal. That's a very good goal. That's an attainable goal. And I think for 4 years running, I'm gonna finish the top row on Old World Map 2. I have to keep stitching on this one. I cannot stop stitching on it. I need to stitch a little bit on it every week. The dog. Okay, didn't destroy the video. So all this is doable if I just stay focused on stitching. Like I said, in my work life, personal life, things have, you know, this year I'm focusing on myself. I'm focusing on reducing my stress. And if that happens, I will stitch like crazy. I can only stitch when I'm relaxed. So we'll see how much more stitching I get done this year. But I'm super excited, planning on stitching for the rest of the day. Like I said, I may finish up with raising the flag today. I may just, you know, allow it to get done sometime later this weekend. Start working on Empire State Workers. Probably work on some, I mean, I'm going to work on everything. Let's just work on everything. So, and to finish it out, I'm just going to show you, I'm going to turn this very slowly and show you the stitchy wall, which thankfully my husband was able to put back together on our wall up here. Different wall than before, but you can see some Ronnie rows. So that's a Ronnie row, that's a Ronnie row. This is some of the Star Wars ones I did for my husband. He's a big Star Wars fan. I got those patterns on Etsy. We've got, I think that's Erica Michaels, the Queen. Oh, maybe my most favorite project of all time. I've got New York City Street Scene from Cross Stitch Collectibles. I've got, I always forget the name of this place that sells K something, I think. This is Westminster Abbey, one of my very first, maybe my first full coverage piece that I finished. My Winnie the Pooh quote that I got from Lizzie Kate. And my project, stitched by Daphne Chamberlain, stitched by me. And, oh, and then we got the frog up there. It was a friend, it was a gift from a friend. So, it's been crazy, and I'm so glad that I was able to finally make it through this video, because I wanted to get it out as early as possible on New Year's Eve. We're going to be just fine. Really feel like we've turned a corner here, or we're about to, but I feel like I've personally turned a corner in every facet of my life, and I'm determined to be better to myself, be good to myself, and do things that make me happy, and just not stress as much. So I'm gonna load this video. I'm gonna get to stitching, and I'm really excited about it. We'll see how far I get. Is this the year that I finish some of these older ones, or that I get some work done? But I mean, you looking back at 2020, I finished, like I said, I finished Reaper, I finished Empire State Work. No, I didn't finish. Eiffel Tower, Twin Towers, and I'm going to finish Raising the Flag as far as the ones that I'm going to count this as a 2020 finish, but I'm likely missing something, but 4 pieces got finished. 1, 2, 3 projects got started and finished all in the same year. It's a pretty good year for me. Looking back over the years, it's a pretty good year for me. So hopefully next year will be even better. The stitchy wall will just fill up, and it may end up filling up with just my stuff, and we may have to put everybody else's work that I've stitched on a different wall. That would be the goal. Fill the walls. But Happy New Year to all of you out there. I hope that if your year was stressful, that the new year brings you more peace. I hope that if you've had health issues, that you're healthier. I wish nothing but the best for you guys. I'm not doing this unless you're here watching. You know, it's the one constant in my life that every week, virtually, I sit down and I talk to you guys, and I make a video and I document my progress, and a lot of times I talk about my life, and it's been a great way to bookmark my life in a sense, and you guys have been there through so much, and I thank you again. Thank you for all the likes, the comments, the subscription, all that stuff, and I hope that in the coming years that I continue to provide some level of entertainment for you, maybe some cross-stitch inspiration and enablement at the same time. And yeah, but thank you if you're still here. I appreciate you guys so much. I probably am not doing a video of like goals for 2022 since I just kind of did it here. I may do one for the store and I may not. That may be a little too much for me to do. I just got this one done today. So Happy New Year. Let's bring in 2022. Let's keep on stitching. All right. Guys, take care. Be safe.